Welcome back. You're watching The Nation. Time now for our media panel, and this week I'm joined by listener columnist Bill Ralston and advertising executive David Walden. Morning to you both.
Morning.
Let's start with the New Zealand Herald. It's had some superb coverage of the America's Cup this week, but I want to take a look at Friday's front page. Here we go. Believe, it simply said. And you do have to ask yourself whether we've been here before, because remember this from 2007 Rugby World Cup in Paris, and here are our All Blacks. You can see in the black and white photo there in Corsica, having a bit of a chill out, and then what do you know, soon after that, we were rolled, goodness me, by the French in Cardiff. I don't know what you're moaning about. I was there. It was mortifying. We have had a tendency, haven't we, for the best part of 7 days now to be celebrating
get a bit ahead of ourselves.
that we're winning.
Well, there's a joke running around Australia that says, how do you get a champagne cork back into a bottle? Ask a Kiwi. Because I think we've got a tendency to start celebrating a little too soon. But look, I think there's been a real need to keep the thing going. So the story's been hyped in the morning on radio, it's been hyped in the Herald, it's been hyped everywhere, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving in terms of readership and in terms of viewership. It's fantastic. But gee, we do love the sound of our own victory.
Yeah, we have been kind of
noise.
saying today's the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a given that we think we're going to, we've always been going to win the America's Cup. It's just a matter of when.
Just looking at the New Zealand Herald every day of this race series, it's front page.
Yeah.
Because they do their R&D, the research and development by looking at the website, seeing how many hits are attracted by a story. And of course, the Team New Zealand stories, the America's Cup stories are so huge. They're going to put it on the front page every day. They'll have it for the rest of the year if they could.
I think also, Rachel, the fact that we leapt out to that huge lead got everyone into a kind of a sense of, hey, this is not going to be difficult. At 8-1 or, they were -2 before we even started. So, it's been...
And nothing motivates New Zealanders, Bill, more than, the little country that's coming good and it's going to beat the big guy. We love to win, don't we?
We love that.
Well, I mean, whichever way the America's Cup goes, the New Zealanders are in so many numbers, so bigger numbers in the Oracle team as well. We're actually racing ourselves, apart from Jimmy Spittle.
And we built both the boats. I mean, that's the thing. New Zealand's boat building international reputation is huge because of what we've done in this America's Cup. But Mum and Dad, I don't think sitting at home, watching it on the telly, I don't think they're kind of getting that message.
The ratings, though, the ratings are huge. I mean, the ratings for America's Cup are exceeding now rugby test types of ratings. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, too, the issue for some of the newspapers, I know, ODT was running a headline, hold your breath, and we've had them believe and one more win. I guess it's difficult for the newspapers because when they come out in hard copy, it's the races are over or not by sort of about 9:30. I guess you don't want your whole readership to disappear.
No, well, that is a risk for newspapers. But the interesting thing is, I've been watching is public interest during the Louis Vuitton was not great. I don't think.
No, I don't think it ever really
suddenly
is.
It's just started to spike, and it's grown daily, to huge.
I think, to be fair to Murphy from the Herald, predicted that it was going to be massive, and everyone was going to be motivated. I think a few, producers and editors have predicted that we would get so far behind it. What do you make of some of the coverage that we've seen? The commentary and the way it's been presented out of San Francisco.
Look, I think I'm getting a bit bored with Martin Tasker and Peter Lester, to be honest. But
it is the longest sporting event, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and they do. I mean, thank goodness it's not like the last time when the races took hours, because you had all of that fill-in and things. This time, at least, it's short and sharp. But I think the coverage has been pretty amazing, and it seems to have improved. The whoever's doing the OB in
Dennis
San
Harvey,
Francisco
ex-TVNZ,
is
did the last
doing it brilliantly, and we've got some great shots. So
and
all that all that onboard camera stuff is fantastic.
It's magical to watch. The cinematography of it, if you like, is amazing. Credit where it's due. I think Tony Street's done a very good job as well.
Extremely good job.
Perhaps just a little bit too much talk too early on, though, about the ticker tapes and the parties and the beers.
Again, anticipating success is dangerous.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that's interesting with the America's Cup is that it's an interesting sport. If you know a bit about racing, yacht racing, match racing, you know everything about it, but you can't really have a minor sort of understanding of it. There's been some criticism it's been dumbed down. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know. You've certainly got New Zealanders. I mean, people who've never been on a boat talking about foiling, you know. I mean,
Jibing.
Yeah, jibing, and the interest has certainly gone off in yachting. Gone straight through the roof.
But Rachel, I think, look, this has captured the nation. There are people, it's not just Auckland, it's not just yachties, it's not just people who've got wet feet. People are out there. The red socks thing has been brought back. Stephen Tindall got 10,000 New Zealand flags that he gave to everyone in San Francisco. But up and down the country, everyone's watching this and everyone's reading about it, and it has brought the country together.
And we've got corporates already jumping behind
corporates
him.
already jumping. The ASB Bank is the official bank of Team New Zealand, and they're ready to, I'm sure, fund the defence. So that's, all of that stuff will I think, continue to feed on itself. But we do have this slight tendency to get a bit ahead of ourselves.
We do. OK, let's move on now. We've got a couple of ads to look at. This one is by Len Brown's campaign. It's had a bit of airplay during the America's Cup coverage.
We need to ensure that we attract more people into our city as a great tourist destination and invest strongly in the high-tech and innovative sectors.
So the Auckland Mayoralty is considered a little bit of a one-horse race with Len Brown. What do you make of why he's positioning these ads, the way he's positioning them and where he's putting them?
I think the interesting thing, it is a bit of a one-horse race. I mean, all the polls say he's going to have a little romp to victory. So the fact that he is taking and spending money, I think it's a clever media buy. All of Auckland is watching the America's Cup. He's probably buying just that Auckland region. And by putting out and saying he has at least some ideas or a vision for Auckland is good, because otherwise I think he could be accused of sleepwalking to victory or taking it for granted. So I think that's kind of good. I don't think he's trying to necessarily piggyback on a link to the America's Cup.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's feeling pretty good about it, and if we win it, it's a nice thing to be associated with.
Feel-good feelings work, for people, and so that might well be the case. What do you think,
it's
Billy?
a good ad.
Len
knows innovation, Len knows finance, Len knows
I just
tourism.
think it's funny. Len knows tourism.
Yeah.
But those are the issues. Those are the things that a mayor has to be across. It gets that message straight through. I'll be interested to see what John Polino, his opposition guy, what kind of commercials he runs, if he runs TV commercials at all.
But Len's got his billboards out there. I mean, the interesting thing really in Auckland is this whole battle for the council now. The mayoralty seems to have gone to the side, and now it's a battle of what's the makeup of the council. And I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, will the council swing to the right or to the left?
Yeah, absolutely.
OK, right. Let's have another look at a different type of ad. It's about the dangers of driving while stoned, directed by Taika Waititi.
My dad's been blazing. He drives like this. Nah, bro, like this. Nah, bro, like this. What street do I live on again?
So designed to highlight the issues of
Brilliant
smoking
ad.
a bit of
Brilliant
weed
ad.
and getting behind the wheel.
Brilliant ad. I mean,
ad.
great performance from those kids, and fantastic, and probably really successful in bringing an issue to the attention of people who would be otherwise not very concerned about it at all. I mean, when you're doing advertising for a social issue, you either have to shock people. And we've seen all those in the LTSA
driving.
and the drink driving and the speeding and all of that. Or you have to gain kind of empathy and sort of sneak up on them. And I think that's what Ghost Chips did. I think the other ones in this series where you've seen the stoners going into a dairy or a fish and chip shop and having some difficulty making their order and ending up with 55 cream buns or something because they've obviously got the munchies. That stuff kind of entertains people. But at the end of it, good advertising at times makes you see yourself. And if there are stoners out there who see themselves in the picture and begin to think, hey, maybe I shouldn't be getting in the car with my kids in this situation, then it's going to work.
But that ad was designed purely for Māori television because Drug Foundation research showed that Māori were 50% more likely to have smoked dope in the last 12 months than the general population. Yeah. So, there is a weighting. I never heard the word blaze before in relation to getting stoned.
I know,
I'm so old.
Where have you been, Billy?
But I'm even now smiling. Whenever I have seen any of those ads, the 50-odd cream buns and things, I can't can't stop laughing. I saw the ad and I was laughing through it. And I don't know whether that's because, in theory, it doesn't target
Well,
me.
the blaze can give you the giggles
Yeah.
too. I mean, Rachel,
I'm not blazed on the Nation, but thank you,
that's
David.
That's good, okay. Just checking.
But I think if there's a level of advertising that's designed to amuse and go over certain people's head, but target those that need to.
It's winning people over, I think, to the message.
Humour is the fastest way between 2 points. If you use humour in an advertising sense, it is absolutely one of the best techniques. We've used it in advertising that I've done. Goldstein for ASB Bank was humour, and it was the fastest way of getting a proposition across to someone else. And we do it the same. 2 Degrees with Rhys Darby. Humour. I mean, and these ads are humorous, and people enjoy watching them.
That's funny, actually.
Television's about entertaining.
Whenever I trip or do something or a friend falls over or whatever, the standard line now is always no more bezies for you. No matter how sorry you are.
And that's when you can get the theme of your ad into the lexicon of the language, and people start saying no more bezies for you, Rachel. Then that's good. Or Rachel, you haven't been blazing, eh? You don't want that.
You're going to start some awful rumours. All right, David Walden and Bill Ralston, thank you for your time this morning.